Good morning, sports fans. You're in the Cheap Seats, 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. We're out here at the Knights of Columbus for the Polar Plunge. Josh Komnick along with the voice of the Railers, Mr. Verderber, Bobby V.
Well, good morning, Josh. I ran earlier this morning and the fog wasn't this bad, or maybe you can see better when you're running than when you're driving. I came in on 5th Street. I had to stop and get some pills for my dog. He's going to be 14 next month.
Wow.
So
Still running with you?
No, he just kind of looks at me on the porch and he goes, Bobby B, you're nuts. But, yeah, and then I saw a jogger. You know, joggers are supposed to run into the traffic so they can see what's coming.
Right.
This guy had his back to me on 5th Street in the fog. So there's a car approaching. I slowed down. There was another one behind me, and I'm glad he saw my brakes or I wouldn't have made it.
But you're here.
I'm here.
And you were here last year for this, Bob, a great cause that they put on. It's getting bigger and bigger every year. We'll have a bunch of different representatives from the Polar Plunge. Of course, they have their shindig here that's been bumping since I got here at 8 o'clock. We've got music in the background, people signing up, sweatshirts, T-shirts, decorations, everything you could ask for. And then, of course, the big plunge goes out to the Lincoln Lakes, and you're taking part, diving into the water. But like you said earlier, couldn't ask for any better weather.
No, this is the third one. The first one is pretty good weather. The sun was out, and it's at a beautiful place. It's the old ski beach out at the Lincoln Lakes, and they keep that up. Last year was pretty chilly. You know, I think there's one guy that goes in, maybe 2 older than me, and I thought, man, this could be it, man. This could be Heart Attack City. But they've got every rescue guy in the county there, so that's a good thing. They can just jump on my chest, kick me, and I'll be back in the game.
Get you jump started again.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things to talk about. Of course, the NCAA tournament's going on, and we want to talk about the Polar Plunge, what all goes on. There's a number of different sites. I'm reading some literature on it, 20-some different sites now in the state of Illinois, and you know, these teams, we have a number of teams listed here, and we're going to announce all those teams and team names, kind of some nice team names that are going to be plunging, and it looks like at least 20 teams, if not more, maybe 25, going out to do the Polar Plunge today. I believe that is around 12 o'clock.
So this could be a record financially for them. It goes to the Special Olympics, and that's great. And they have awards afterwards for the teams that provided the most, or who had the best costumes, and so on and so forth.
Raise the most money, and as you said, goes to Special Olympics, and we always seem to have very good teams at all of the events that participate in the Special Olympics too.
We do. It's quite an event. They have the national anthem, rings out across the lakes out there, and then they fire off the starting gun. The mayor does for each group that goes in, so it's a lot of fun. You mentioned the NCAA championships. Also, I listened to the Lanphier North Chicago game. It was pretty exciting. I listened to Tim Schweitzer and John Levin, and as you said, North Chicago went on quite a run to start the third quarter. In fact, Lanphier led by 11 at halftime, but you said that the Warhawks went on a 23-6 run to start the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, Lanphier was down 66-59. They went on an 8-point run, and they were up 67-66, but then after that it was lights out. Yeah.
Well, as you said, Bob, and we get into that, which now is 3A and 4A this weekend. Of course, we had Mason City. The Cougars were in the 1A last weekend, and then now the 3A and 4A, and you have Lanphier, who's a local representative out of the Central State 8, losing yesterday 74-67 over North Chicago. So, you know, Lanphier had been, you know, right there all year. Right now their record, I believe, the Warhawks from North Chicago are 25-6. The Lions fall to 28-4, so they're going to take on Country Club Hills, another school out of the suburbs of Chicago. They were beaten by Peoria Central, and you know, Bob, Peoria Central beat Lanphier earlier this year. Well, they split. They both played two times, and they split. So Peoria Central is going to be in the state championship. Be nice to play that at home court, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would be. And you know, that same scenario happened back in 1977. That's when my brother was a junior. They played Lanphier in an overtime at the Armory, and Lanphier won it. They went on to play Peoria Central for the state championship, and they had beaten Peoria Central at the Pekin Holiday Tournament. But then Peoria Central turned around and beat them. So that's quite a rivalry. And that brings up another point, Josh. I know you were a great player, you know, maybe one of the top 12 players ever play at Lincoln. And I don't know about this 4A, 3A.
Yeah,
The 3A team could beat the 4A team in certain years.
Very watered down.
Yeah.
And I was at the Lanphier game, of course, playing Lincoln, and a friend of mine that played for Lanphier back when they had that team. When I was a sophomore, of course, your son was a sophomore too, and they had Jeff Walker and Leonard Walker and Chukadebe, and he didn't play a lot, but he even said he's a big Lanphier fan. He said, my team, my senior year, and your guys' senior year would beat these guys by 30.
Oh yeah,
and you know, and I watched it. You know, I saw Lincoln hold them to 39 points or whatever it was, 45 points or something like that. So I think it is. I think you're right. But when you get up to the 4A, well, I don't know if you've seen Simeon yet, but they're as big as a college team.
Yeah, and they always come strong. And you mentioned that game from March 8th, 1996, and actually Josh Komnick made the winning shot in that game. Was that the end of regulation or the first overtime?
First overtime.
I was sitting, well, maybe 55 feet away from, no, less than that, because you were under the basket. I was sitting at a table like this straight at the hoop, and I reran that tape a million times, and you made that. If they had where the lights went up on the backboard, Brad Bob could have been one of the all-time greatest heroes in Lincoln High School history because he had that bank shot.
Yep.
Clinked off the front of the rim, you got it and just flipped it back up and in. You know, did it a million times.
Didn't count.
Didn't count.
I know.
And you remember at the end of every one of those periods, there was a big shot made. But finally, in the third overtime, we just ran out of soldiers. Yeah,
I fouled out. I think Jason Osborne fouled out that game. And, you know, it's amazing. You'll go to of course, they go to all the games doing the radio for the Lincoln, and you'll have people come up from Jacksonville or Springfield, didn't even have really a care about that game and say, man, you were the one that played in that 3 overtime game, weren't you? Yeah. And, you know, that was what a game. It's the best game I've ever seen, you know.
And what was the tallest guy on your team?
Jason.
He was maybe
Jason Osborne,
6'3" if you stretch it.
Yeah.
And he had a chance to win the game at the end of one of the
overtimes.
One of the overtimes, and I get a kick out of it because in the Lincoln Railer program, they have it that you guys made the most threes in a game, but they have the wrong date.
Oh, really?
They have March 18th in there. Look at it. Little trivia catch there in the program. Should be March 8th.
There you go. The guy that would know it is the guy to my right, Bobby V. And let's get into those 4A games real quick, Bobby. Proviso East beat Rockford Auburn last night 55-45, and then Bloom Township, as we said, fell to Simeon. Simeon, when ranked in the top 5 in the nation all year, that was a 45-35 win for Simeon. So it looks like Simeon's going to take on Proviso East, who Proviso East been a strong basketball team for years and years and years, and now they've moved up into 4A, so they're going to take on Simeon in the state playoffs. Rockford Auburn and Bloom Township are going to play for 3rd and 4th. That's tonight. And then Lanphier Country Club Hills, I think that's about a 12 o'clock start, so we'll be out plunging while the Lions tip there. And then Peoria Central and North Chicago tip around 2:30, I think, for the state championship in 3A.
You going to plunge, Josh?
No.
You're not?
No.
Hey, speaking of the state tournament, there's 2 great books out. I don't know if I know one is by the great Scott Betzelberger, who played for Lincoln back in 72 was his senior year, and that's about the Quinn Buckner team. Yeah. And then there's another one that one of my daughters, Jackie, lives down in Southern Illinois, and it's about the Cobden Apple Knockers. Great read. That team finished 2nd to Pekin in 1964. And that was coached by Dottie Hawkins, Pekin was, and Duncan Reed was the assistant coach. He eventually came to Lincoln.
Sure.
But a lot of things in that, for that Cobden team, I didn't know if you read the book. One player, when he was a junior, he got his girlfriend pregnant, so the school board wouldn't let him play. So they changed the rule for the next year where he could play. They got married. He was married his senior year, played. Their star point guard was in a swimming accident and drowned the year before. So it makes you wonder if, you know, they lost by 5 points to Pekin. If that guy hadn't had that swimming accident, they could have won it.
The state champions for Cobden.
Yeah, that was I think that was the second year they played it at the Assembly Hall. I think the first year was in '63. That's when I can't remember the guy's name. He only played for about 4 seconds in the game. He stole the ball and hit a shot out of the corner. And that won the game for Carver, I believe, over Collinsville. I have to double check, but that's just
man air.
Yeah, that's old history.
Hey, we're going to take a quick commercial break and be back with some of Bobby's picks that he's had in the bracket. It's been a crazy NCAA tournament, and it was even crazier yesterday. So we'll be back here. We're out at the Knights of Columbus for the Polar Plunge, getting ready for all the events that are going to go on today for that. And we'll be back 96.3 FM and WLCN online. Back out here at the Knights of Columbus for kicking off the 2012 Polar Plunge. You're in the Cheap Seats 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. Josh Komnick and the voice of the Railers, Bobby V.
And Joni Keys.
Joni Keys is here. She's here. She's been here way earlier than I was.
This is the third one.
This is actually our 5th year.
In Lincoln?
For this here, yes. Believe it or not, it is.
We polar plunged 5 times already?
Yeah.
My brain cells are frozen.
I know.
Oh my God.
Yes, we have. It's awesome. Yeah.
And we talked a little bit off air about the record number of plungers that you are hoping to take place today.
Yeah, we're super excited this year. We're thinking we're going to have over 200 plungers here today. So I mean, it's going to be a beach party. Let's face it. Today,
yeah.
I mean, it's going to be 81
weather.
degrees,
Yeah.
right? So. We're looking forward to it. Everything kicks off here at 10 o'clock with registration. Everybody's going to come in and register, get their armbands, get their hoodie, sweatshirt, although they're not going to need it after they get out of the water today.
Oh.
No.
And then about 11 o'clock, the shuttle buses are going to start running thanks to West Lincoln Broadwell, and their drivers are going to shuttle all the spectators and plungers down to the beach area.
Perfect.
And then about 11:45, we're going to do a little brief opening ceremonies and have the national anthem sung by Leslie Bennett, and then the mayor's going to kick it off with the honorary plungers, the Trojans from Lincoln Junior High.
Nice.
And after that, the sheriff's going to
And the mayor's
take
going
over.
in.
The mayor's going in, yeah.
Yeah.
He is with the Rotary Rocks group because he's a Rotary member.
You know, Joni, with your permission, we ought to give Josh and Jim and Jeff number 2 a free plunge. Just to laugh
I think
at
so.
them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see when we get out there. And you talk about those teams. I'm looking at the roster for some of the team names. A lot of people put a lot of thought into these names, and it looks like they have a lot of fun, too.
They do, you know, and I imagine we'll see some costumes here today, too, because we do have a costume contest that we give away an award for. So many of them. There was one that I don't have on there. They're kind of latecomer called Cat's Pajamas. And
Cat's Pajamas.
I'm anxious to see what that's going to be all about. But
Yeah.
Should be good.
So, yeah, they're a lot of fun. They have a lot of fun with it. And a lot of these groups have worked really, really hard to raise a lot of money. I know the Trojan group here, the Lincoln Junior High group, the principal challenged them $1,000 or $3,000 that they raise. He's going in. So guess what?
He's going.
Mr. Froby, he's
Mr.
going
Froby.
in.
Kent Froby's going in.
Froby's going in.
Nice.
So, yeah, that'll be exciting.
Little social studies class to show them how to react, to be in public and to help people and the different kinds of things.
It is, you know, and we have a promotion here right along those lines to promote the high school students, any student 18 years or younger that are plunging and turn in their $75. They're actually eligible for a 32-inch flat screen TV.
Cool.
So that's all to promote the community awareness and being a part of an event for the community. So
that's great. I mean, Lincoln, when it comes time to give money, they do it. There's another event coming up March 31st, the Cheeseburger in Paradise right here.
Yeah.
And they come out for the Special Olympics. Whenever people need money, the community,
awesome.
the county comes through.
And this event here has done nothing but grow.
Yeah.
It amazes me every year. We exceed or meet our goal with fundraising. So this year our goal is 200 plungers and $44,000. Last year we brought in $40,000 from here. So awesome event. And so that'll help a lot of the athletes right here in Lincoln as they advance on at no charge to them to our local and district and state events that they participate in and work and train really hard for.
So how many of these are there across the state?
The plunge, there's 20 this year.
See.
They began way back in February, the last weekend in February, and there's actually one, I believe, next weekend, or maybe, I think there's the last one's next weekend. But so.
What's the largest one in history? The city that brings out the most plungers?
Well, we have a super plunge. It's up in Chicago. And they plunge. They plunge 24 hours straight.
Yeah, I read that at the Northwestern.
Every hour on the hour. Yeah. So that's kind of a different deal, but they have that every year. That brings in, over $100,000, and so. But this is just amazing. The money. I mean, we bring in over $2 million from these different plunges all throughout the state of Illinois. So it's just phenomenal.
And this is all Special Olympics events: track and field, basketball.
It is. Yeah, we have We have so many different sports that these athletes actually get to participate in, and they really have a variety of sports that they can choose from. And they have to train for 8 weeks prior to competition for each one of these events and sports. So, and then they advance on just as if they are in a high school or a college sort of level. They go to the district and then the state, and then ultimately go on to be eligible for a World Games or National Games.
Wow.
Yeah, this big event doesn't take place overnight, Joni. You've got a lot of helpers. You're the director of kind of make sure everything's in place, but you see a lot of shirts walking around here that have volunteer on the back.
Yes.
And talk a little bit about them, how many you have, and what they all do, even not just today, but year leading up to it.
Yeah, we start meeting for this particular event in November. And, we have over 50 volunteers that'll be helping us here today, and that's just probably right here. We've got so many at the beach, too. I mean, thanks to Dan Polsher and his EMS group, his dive team. It takes a major group of people to really be organized and to know exactly what they're supposed to be doing, and I couldn't do it without them. An event can't run smoothly without well-informed volunteers, and a lot of these people have been doing this for several years now, so they're pretty well seasoned. They know what they're doing, and this runs really smoothly thanks to all of them.
And the weather, you've had great weather. I mean, even last year was a little chilly, but I remember the sun was out as we were talking sports here back at the KC Hall, but it was sunny. And today 80, 82 or something like that. Yeah, and
they're going to be begging for fans,
they're going to go
not
back in.
heaters in the tent.
Yeah, they're not going to want to come back out.
Because normally we have, heaters powered by generators down there. We have indoor-outdoor carpet and the changing tents, and we heat those. But I said, we
need the sunscreen.
They're going to be begging for the fans and air conditioning to be on, but that's okay. We'll take it. We're not complaining. Yeah,
there's no doubt about that. And you talked about all the some of the teams: the Rotary Rocks, Lincoln Mayor, Keith Snyder, Three Musketeers, D-Way, Fanning Family, Growl Incorporated, Christian Child Care. Monsanto, Railer Royalty, of course, the 12 Hotties and a Dude with WLCN 96.3, We Care Tree Service, Cats Pajamas. You talked about all of them. Hopefully over 200 plungers for a great cause. What got you into this, Joni?
I've been doing Special Olympics for 20 years. I'm dating myself here ever since I graduated from Eastern Illinois University, but I wouldn't be doing anything different. I mean, what a thrill it's been over the years to really be committed. The organization is committed to our athletes. I mean, it is one of the few organizations that I can truly say that their main focus and what we work for are the athletes, from the board members on down to our local events. That's the number one priority is our athletes. What do they need? What do they want? How can we get more people involved?
Well, what I noticed the first time that I had the honor doing this with you and your volunteers here was the passion, the way these people put their hearts into this to support the Special Olympics.
They do. And you'll see a lot of our athletes plunging today. Yeah. They've raised quite a bit of money over the years. They usually bring in anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 just themselves to plunge, so they have a good time with it for sure.
Sounds good, Jody. Well, we'll let you get back to work. Thanks for having us out here again.
Right.
We love kicking this off. It's a great event, one of the best in Logan County, and you guys have fun all day plunging.
We will. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be back here out at the Casey Hall. Josh Komnick along with Bobby V to talk some NCAA basketball and what happened yesterday to some beloved's Duke.
Right here in the cheap seats.
We'll be back, 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.